So I'm going to finish the risotto now, and this is the third step of making risotto called the montecare. And when you do the montecare, there's a couple of things that you have to take into account. There's a couple different things that really have to be at the same time. They got to be happening at the same time. The rice has to be done, and it's got to be al dente, but it can't be overdone, and it shouldn't be crunchy. It's got to be just perfectly done. And also, another big thing that a lot of people don't think about is that the amount of liquid in the pan, you need to have liquid still, because you're going to add butter and cheese, and you're going to create an emulsion that I'm going to show you how to do, and that emulsion needs to be able to absorb the fat that you're going to add into it. So I can see here it's still pretty liquidy, which is a term that Italians would say is sull'onda, which means on the wave. So on the wave, it can kind of slosh back and forth. It's wet. It could probably use even just a tablespoon more water. Just a little bit. And also, you will notice that I have turned the heat off. And that is because you can actually break the emulsion, and then the risotto will have like curdled cheese in it, and then the oil will separate out, and it will be like an oil slick. The rice will just be covered in a layer of oil, and it's really terrible, and then the risotto is totally screwed, and you have to start over because that's garbage. The other thing you got to be careful of is that your fat has to be at room temperature. Otherwise, you're going to make the risotto cold. So I got my Parmigiano Reggiano here. I like to add a lot of cheese. So let's say about a nice half cup of grated cheese, and then a nice tablespoon of butter. And now what you want to do, you got to mix this in pretty quick. I used to work at a restaurant where when I would stir the risotto at the end, they would call it Alan's risotto seizure, because you got to really got to work it in there. Make sure to get around the sides. Now, it's a little thick, so I am going to add about a teaspoon more of hot water, because you want it to stay creamy while you eat it. Just a tiny bit more. Okay, now you can see it's creamy. It's emulsified, it's nice and hot, and it is done. So now you put it into a bowl and eat it.